Today I'm going to show you how to import marble textures and 3D models into 3ds Max using LotPixel Hub with a single click. Instead of spending hours setting up materials manually, you can now get everything ready in seconds. LotPixel Hub is a Microsoft Store verified app, and now it fully supports 3ds Max with its add-on. It currently supports Arnold, vray, and Corona render engines. And in this video, we'll be using the Corona renderer. The platform includes over 1,300 free assets and more than 6,000 high-quality textures and models. First, we go into LotPixel Hub and open the Manage Plugins section. From here, we install the 3ds Max add-on. The best part is, it automatically installs the add-on to all installed versions of 3ds Max 2023 and above. Once installed, if 3ds Max is open, we need to restart it. So I quickly close and reopen 3ds Max. Then we go back to Hub and make sure that 3ds Max is selected in Import Settings. Now I switch to 3ds Max and select the object where I want to apply the marble material. Back in LotPixel Hub, I choose a marble texture and import it in 4K with a single click. As you can see, a custom interface appears inside 3ds Max. From here, we can control all material properties. And here's an important detail. LotPixel Hub automatically creates materials based on the render engine you select. So if you're using Corona, it creates a Corona material. If you're using vray, it creates a vray material. And if you're using Arnold, it generates a fully compatible Arnold setup. Now, to fix the UV mapping, we need to add a UVW map modifier to the object, but we can also do this directly from the interface with a single click. Box mapping is selected by default. I set the size values to 100-100-100, and I set the tiling value to 1.5. At this point, the tiling value controls how many times the texture repeats across the surface. As you increase the tiling, the texture appears smaller and repeats more frequently. With lower values, the texture appears larger and more stretched across the object. For surfaces like marble, finding the right tiling value is very important, because too much repetition can make the material look artificial. So in most cases, it's best to adjust it slightly based on the scale of your scene until you achieve a more natural and realistic result. Now I select another object. This time I import a tile marble texture, walnut Mitridat natural stone tile. Again, I add a UVW map modifier. Set size to 100-100-100. To align the tiles, I adjust the Z position, but I don't like the initial result. So I increase tiling to 1.5 and adjust the Z position again. Now it looks much more natural. When we render this, we get a very clean and realistic result. And we didn't build a single material manually. Now let's add a couple of 3D models into the scene. First, I import a frying pan model. With a single click, it gets imported into the scene. It automatically appears at 0, 0, 0. Now I move it onto the marble surface, adjust the position slightly, and make sure it sits naturally on the surface. Then I import a kitchenware trivet model. Again, it comes in with a single click. I place it onto the marble, adjust its position a bit, and complete the composition. This way, we can quickly add realistic details to the scene. Here's the key point. These models don't come as empty meshes. They come fully prepared with all materials, textures, normal maps, roughness, reflections, and everything is already configured according to your selected render engine. You can instantly adjust color, increase reflections, tweak normal intensity, or control how glossy or matte the surface looks. So you're not just importing a model, you're importing a complete, production-ready material system. Now I'll replace the marble with another one. I select the free homogeneous white marmo bianco marble texture and apply it with one click. Again, I add a UVW map modifier, set size to 100-100-100, and set tiling to 1.25. And this is the final render result. As you can see, importing textures and 3D models into 3ds Max is now incredibly fast and simple. With just one click, you can bring in fully ready materials, edit them instantly, and render without wasting time. If you want to speed up your workflow, definitely check out LotPixel Hub.